Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to season 2, episode 31 of 6 for 6. We got some great renditions of sports and all things that we can imagine this week in November. Yes, we finally reached November, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, I finally shaved my beard. So hopefully that's not a curse to my 6 for 6 and we actually go 0-6. And then we will have to rethink about ever shaving my beard ever again if we do something like that. So we got to keep that in mind as we progress. I got my tea. We got our 6 best sporting events to watch. I will help you figure out what sporting events to watch this week. And we'll have a fantastic evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we got an interesting matchup tonight in Thursday Night Football against the Houston Texans, against the Philadelphia Eagles. And we have the World Series where the Houston Astros and the Philadelphia Phillies are going at it. So, battle of two cities tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It can't get much crazier than that for those two cities, Houston and Philadelphia. The Houston Texans are playing tonight, and the Houston Astros are playing tonight against two Philadelphia teams. So, definitely going to be an interesting matchup. So, we got to get through this program so you guys can watch Thursday Night Football and the World Series for these two cities going at. Definitely going to be a big for those two teams. Without further ado, let's do a quick recap of last week's episode. In episode 31, we went 4-2 with our picks. That's what we needed to get us up closer to that 100 win milestone in this season. We made some leaps and bounds this season, and we're eyeing up that 100 wins. It's going to be magical. So that puts us 90, 74, and 2 with our overall record this season in our picks. I think we're doing a great job. We turn it around second half after our bye week, like in the summer, and we have progressed ever since. We're not looking back, 10 wins away. So that's literally 2 more episodes. In my reality, it's probably going to be 3 to 4 more episodes, but let's be optimistic and say it's going to be, we're going to get another 6-0, another perfect bracket on 6 for 6, getting all of our picks right. We've only done it once. We've done going undefeated in our picks twice. So our ratio is not great, but we had some, fabulous 2 losses and, 1 losses here and there. And our famous, going 3 for 3. So we got everything covered. So without further ado, let's go into our first pick. NBA, ladies and gentlemen, we got the Bulls and Celtics tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time on ESPN. Please bear with me. I'm overcoming a cold, so if I'm coughing here and there and being slow, that is the reason why I'm drinking tea to help me get through this program. But if you're looking at this, ladies and gentlemen, the Boston Celtics don't have any injuries, though they did lose a close game against the Cavs in overtime and lost by 1 point. Celtics are looking to be hungry and vengeful. So their wins and losses are not going to be there. I can't really provide you a great update because the NBA plays games so often in our script. We do it the night before. So obviously, if we don't catch those games when they go off and ESPN does an update, they won't be in our 6 for 6. So our data is a little skewed. But when you look at it, I have to agree with ESPN on this, ladies and gentlemen, with the Celtics with an 83% chance of victory. I think it's a great way for them to continue a tough loss, losing to the Cavaliers. But the Bulls have the same type of mindset. That out of their last 5 games, they won 3 out of the last 5. They beat Brooklyn, they beat the Pacers, and they beat Boston. So, but that was at home when they beat Boston. But they lost to the 76ers and the Spurs. The Celtics, on the other hand, they beat the Wizards. They lost to the Cavs twice already. They lost to the Bulls. And they beat the Orlando Magic and they beat the Miami Heat. So this Celtics team is a solid team as it has been. So now they're going to continue and look off beating up the Bulls at home. I think, I don't think you can bet against the Celtics at home that often. So I'm going to go with the Celtics in this one, ladies. Definitely going to be a great basketball on a Friday night. If you're at your local bar, just, sitting back, having a cold one with your bros or gals, or if it's a mixed group, just chilling out and relaxing and watching some classic NBA at this time. You can catch the Bulls Celtics tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time on ESPN. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, the World Series has been extremely interesting. Astros Phillies game 5 tonight at 8:03 p.m. Eastern, 5:03 p.m. Pacific time on Fox. This World Series, ladies and gentlemen, has been a roller coaster from blowouts to close. Well, I wouldn't say even close. The only close game was game 1 when the Phillies stormed back and stole game 1. But then in game 2, the Astros got mad. They went 5-2 against the Phillies. Game 3 got postponed on the 31st of October on Halloween, and it got bumped to November 1st. And the Phillies came out, dominated the Astros. 7-0, shut them out. Astros responded in game 4 in Philadelphia, but it turned into a no-hitter. Ridiculous, right? This World Series has been a World Series that we don't really see that often, where teams, start blowing each other out and then, excuse me, have just been playing like this. So based on what I'm seeing on this pattern, just the World Series alone, and you're, isolating everything else out of the playoffs and all that stuff, from what I'm seeing, the Phillies should win game 5 tonight based on how the trajectory. Phillies won game 1. Astros have won game 2. Phillies have won game 3. Astros have won game 4. So in game 5, if you're looking at the odd games, the Philadelphia Phillies should win game 5 tonight. I don't know if it's going to be another blowout or is it going to be close like game 1. I do not know. But based on that pattern and what we're seeing, I'm going to say the Phillies are going to recover from the no-hitter and going to come out swinging tonight and trying to hit the ball to the fences, create some home runs, and win game 5 tonight in the World Series. Definitely catch this action. Astros Phillies, game 5 tonight, 8:03 p.m. Eastern, 5:03 p.m. Pacific time on Fox. Now we go into the world of football, ladies and gentlemen. We got the Seattle Seahawks have been doing phenomenal this year, when we all thought they were done and Geno Smith wasn't going to be the quarterback. They were going to be they were going to have not a great record. Well, they turned everybody's head upside down and have dominated teams. The Seattle Seahawks this year, ladies and gentlemen, are 5-3. But who are they going up against, ladies and gentlemen? The Arizona Cardinals. Yes, you can catch this game 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern, 1:05 p.m. Pacific time on Fox. And the Cardinals have been struggling. They're 3-5 this year. Looking at the percentage, ESPN has the Cardinals winning it. I do too, because the Cardinals at home, when they last played, Seattle won at home, but Seattle has been making sure their games haven't been close besides the Detroit game and the Saints games. They have, a 2-possession game winning since their last 3 games. So they took care of the Giants, they took care of the Chargers, they took care of the Cardinals, they lost the Saints, and they took care of the Lions. Lions have been somewhat decent this year, it looks like. But Cardinals, on the other hand, they've lost on the road to the Vikings, Seattle's, and beat Carolina on the road. But when they were at home, they beat the Saints, but lost to the undefeated Eagles. So looking at the home stand, I'm feeling, the edge to the Cardinals with their home stand. That's what I'm getting a vibe for. And that's why I'm thinking the Cardinals can pull it out. I understand Kyle Murray has been struggling, but I think he's trying to turn it around for this team. And beating the Seattle Seahawks at home gets them back in the race for that division a little bit closer, bringing, second place a little bit closer in their retrospect. But we're going to go on to the next game. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, you can catch Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals Sunday, November 6, 4:05 p.m. Eastern, 1:05 p.m. Pacific time on Fox. Next up, we got the Rams and Buccaneers. Sunday, November 6th, 4:25 p.m. Eastern, 1:25 p.m. Pacific time on CBS. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Brady has been struggling this year with all his personal life going on, has been coming out on the field. He's not playing the games like he should. He's losing close games when you think he would come out and win them. The Rams are in the same boat. They're not doing great either. Super Bowl hangover. It's just not looking good for these two franchises when you realize that the Atlanta Falcons are sitting in top over the Buccaneers. It's ridiculous of what I'm seeing. But it's still anybody's chance in the NFC. It's still possible for Tom Brady to turn it around. Yes, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at home. Yes, they can do wonders. But if you look at their average point this season, they haven't cracked more than 20 points per game. Sure, they had against the Ravens, they got 22, but it's not much. Sure, they dropped 31 on Kansas City and lost. But out of those, few outliers, Ed's barely cracking 20 points a game. It's just not there for them. Excuse me. Where you look at the Rams, their offense is not producing anything. Again, not more than 20 points a game, barely even 17. They get blown out by San Fran, 31-14. They beat Carolina with 24-10. They get bushwhacked by Dallas, 22-10. Slaughtered by San Francisco again, 24-9. They beat Arizona 20-12. As you can see, there's not much scoring for this Rams team. Like, they're not averaging 20 points a game. They're really only averaging 17. And that's not going to help them beat the Buccaneers, who average 18. It's going to be close. But I want to say that the Rams will find a way to squeak it out because just so much problems have been going on for Tom Brady. I just don't think he can pull together and get this win. I haven't seen Tom Brady lose 4 games straight. Let's be honest. So he's going to come out balling in this game and make sure he doesn't lose four straight. That's why it's going to be close. But I have a feeling like the Rams are going to find a way to squeak this one out in an ugly fashion in a low-scoring fiasco in this one. And that's why I got the Rams winning it. You can catch the Rams Buccaneers Sunday, November 6th, 4:25 p.m. Eastern, 1:25 p.m. Pacific time on CBS. Next up, we got college football, the games that I think are going to be fun to watch, interesting, and enjoying. We'll say it's college football tea. The committee has dropped the rankings. SEC teams are littered throughout the college football top 25, justifying the SEC bias in some people's eyes, and some say there is no bias. You can debate about it. We can agree to disagree. But the most important thing we realize is we got teams that are close in rankings. And when you have teams that are close in rankings, that means it's going to be a great showdown. So with the number 2 slot is Wake Forest, number 21 in the nation, versus NC State, number 22 in the nation. College football Saturday, November 5th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time on the ACC network. This is a great matchup between these two programs, both 6-2, hungry to improve in the ACC, though their chances of reaching the college football playoffs are dashed in the ACC title game are also dashed. But it's still anybody's way to get a good bowl bid. That's how these programs are looking at it right now. So getting up a high rank gets you closer to a New Year's 6 or a possible New Year's 6. That's how they're looking at it. The quest for a New Year's 6 is these teams' goals right now. Now, Wake Forest has been playing decent. They've been dropping, almost 40 points a game, which is great. They took Clemson to 2 overtimes and lost. But they took care of Florida State. They took care of Army. They took care of Boston College, and they lost to, Louisville. NC State, on the other hand, played Virginia Tech close, beat them by 1, lost to Syracuse 24-9, beat Florida State by 2 points, lost to Clemson by 10, and destroyed UConn 41-10. All their games besides that have been close. Where you look at Wake Forest, there's a margin. And Wake Forest is on the road. And if I'm looking at NC State's homestand out of the last 5 games, they're 3-0. But if you look at Wake Forest's, track record on the road, they're 1-1. So fair enough. It's gonna be a decent matchup. I wouldn't disagree. Because I put the game here in the 2 slot. I think Wake Forest is gonna be a little bit more hungry, a little bit more polished. NC State doesn't have their starting quarterback from the year because he got hurt at the beginning. So they're on their second string, who's been doing fairly well, has some ups and downs in his start. But I think, Wake Forest is going to find a way to win this. You got percentage of, ESPN is saying that NC State has a 58% chance of victory. When you have margins like that in the 50s and, the opponent has a 41% chance of victory, you can start betting, the 40% because you're relatively almost evenly matched. So you can go with Wake Forest taking care of it. If you're looking at spreads, I'm not a great spread person, but definitely an interesting spread to take for this game, I would say. But I got Wake Forest pulling it out in a close nail biter based on how these two teams have been performing. Maybe a 10-point difference. That's probably how I would say. But you can catch this game, Wake Forest number 21 in the nation versus NC State 22 in the nation. College football November 5th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time on the ACC network. And I got Wake Forest winning it. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, time to reveal the number 1 game of the week. And with the number 1 game of the week, ladies and gentlemen, college football tea, I'll say, is Tennessee and Georgia, the game that ends up lining up for the, one of the matchups in the SEC title game for securing a bid in the SEC title game is this game right here. The Georgia Bulldogs, number 3 in the nation, were dethroned. The College Football Committee said, you're not worthy of number 1 anymore. And they moved them down to 3 when they were ranked ahead of Ohio State for so long after destroying Oregon. And I was like saying, how do you jump a number 2 team that didn't lose but beat a number 5 at the time? I was like, how is that possible? I understand you destroyed Oregon 49-3. Solid victory, definitely worthy of moving. But Ohio State faced a harder opponent who was number 5 that the AP poll ranked that was higher than Oregon. Here nor there. But now the committee has stepped in saying, you are no longer 1. You are 3 in our eyes. Now go defeat a number 1, and they'll probably put them back to 1. That's how I would see it. And Ohio State can't do anything because they're playing Northwestern, who isn't ranked. It's this as the sad truth as it is. The Buckeyes can, just dominate Northwestern, drop, 56 or 63 on them. But the committee's going to be like saying, let's see how much Georgia can drop Tennessee. Or is it going to be a shootout? I mean, you can say they're going to find a way to keep Tennessee lingering, maybe without an SEC title berth. I don't know. It just depends how close this game is and how they want to justify their rankings. Tennessee has faced ranked opponents in the past in the road, and those teams that used to be ranked are no longer ranked anymore. But, they beat LSU. They beat Pitt, who used to be 17 early in the season, who no longer ranked. They took care of Florida. They just have that resume where it's just like they beat impressive opponents. They beat Alabama at home. in a shootout fashion. But I would say the benefit of the doubt that Alabama was undisciplined that game, had 17 penalties, gave up almost 130 yards from penalties with those 17. That's why Tennessee won, because if you didn't capitalize on those penalties like they did, Alabama was going to find a way to win that game. And they were close. The kicker missed it. And Tennessee is undefeated, and the goalposts float down the river. Obviously, they got recovered, but as you know what that is, Tennessee's on a historical run, as you can say. And knocking off Georgia adds to that historical run for them. Now, Georgia can upset and spoil it and, reclaim number one. But this is a game to watch. Everybody's going to be watching this game to see what can Tennessee do on the road. And this is another signature win. If they beat Georgia, it's another signature win. Not too many teams within the top 10 have that signature win like Tennessee has, beating, two top 10 opponents. Not many teams can say that they've done it. So we're going to see how they perform. But I got Georgia. I feel like I would trust Georgia in this environment because I haven't seen Tennessee play a top-ranked opponent like this home. No, in an away scenario. So this is the first one. I would say one of the final tests for them, and then the season's theirs. Excuse me. But I got Georgia winning it. Number 1 Tennessee versus number 3 Georgia. College football, November 5th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time on CBS. Ladies and gentlemen, the Georgia Bulldogs, glory to Georgia, will find a way to beat Tennessee and end this Tennessee hype train. Yes, when I picked Tennessee over Alabama, I just felt something special, and they did it. But I think this magic of Tennessee is running out. And they had a great run. Enjoy your New Year's 6, but you're being left out of the college football playoffs. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a quick recap. Number 6, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, the Bulls Celtics tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time on ESPN. And I got the Celtics winning it. Next up, Astros Phillies World Series Game 5 tonight, 8:03 p.m. Eastern, 5:03 p.m. Pacific time on Fox, and I had the Phillies winning it. Next up, I had the Seattle Seahawks versus the Arizona Cardinals, Sunday, November 6th, 4:05 p.m. Eastern, 1:05 p.m. Pacific time on Fox, and I have the Cardinals winning it. Next up, I have the Rams and Buccaneers, Sunday, November 6th, 4:25 p.m. Eastern, 1:25 p.m. Pacific time on CBS, and I have the Rams winning it. Next up in college football world, we got Wake Forest number 21 in the nation versus NC State number 22 in the nation. College football, Saturday, November 5th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time on the ACC network, and I have Wake Forest winning it. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, the game of the week, Tennessee, number 1 in the nation versus Georgia, number 3 in the nation. College football, Saturday, November 5th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time on CBS. And the Georgia Bulldogs will find a way to reclaim number 1 and dethrone Tennessee for their only week being number 1 in the nation. And like I said, quick recap. Last week's episode, we went 4-2. Our overall record this season in season 2 of 6 for 6 is 90, 74, and 2. Thank you so much for watching tonight's program. I do apologize for coughing throughout this, broadcast, and those who are listening to Spotify, Anchor, Apple, and all the other platforms where you can listen to podcasts. I do apologize with the coughs. Like I said, I'm recovering from a sickness, and I'm trying to get recovered. That's why I got tea on tonight's program. Like I said, without further ado, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the battle of the Houston and Philly between baseball and football tonight. Definitely going to be some great games. And enjoy all the sporting events this week. So long for now for 6 for 6. We'll catch you all in next week's episode. So long for now. Bye-bye.